Well, my parents were both Bostonians. My father, Quincy Howe, was a news commentator. And when I was growing up, he did the evening news on the radio on CBS. And there's something decidedly bizarre about hearing your own father doing the evening news, because in real life he had a lot on his mind and he was quite forgetful, and we'd be walking down the street and he'd suddenly go, "Oh, Teen, I'm going the wrong way, sorry," and we'd turn around and go the other way. So to hear him give the evening news, I was always rather suspect about how accurate it was, and to this day I have a lot of trouble reading watching television or even reading the newspaper and wondering about how true it is. But he came from a very literary family. His father was one of 18 children. His father was Mark DeWolf Howe, who was a man of letters, a poet, who lived to be 96. He was young enough to see soldiers coming home from the Civil War, and he lived long enough to vote for John F. Kennedy for president. And he published over 50 books in his lifetime. He won a Pulitzer in biography and was a very sweet man. And like his father and his brother, Mark Howe, who was a law professor at Harvard, he worked all the time. He worked 7 days a week, I would say 15 hours a day. And so growing up in this household, I was very aware, that Daddy's working and we have to be quiet. But I was also aware that if you want to be a writer and if you want to achieve anything, you're supposed to work 7 days a week for 15 hours. And Thanksgivings and family occasions were always about, what are you reading, what are you writing, what are you working on, what poetry are you interested in. And my father could recite verse at the drop of a hat and would always launch forth. He loved E.E. Cummings. He had very eclectic taste. His favorite novel was James Joyce's Ulysses. And when I was sick with hepatitis, coming back from Paris, my year of wild abandon, and I ended up in Roosevelt Hospital with this galloping case of hepatitis, Daddy came every day on his lunch hour. I was there for 3 weeks, and he read James Joyce's Ulysses out loud to me during his lunch hour. So it was, I suppose, a rather unusual household.